lovelies, and thank you for choosing to watch this video. I decided to get in on the whole Christmas hype, and I'm glad I did. Everybody's made so many amazing houses that I decided to focus on a community lot instead. I wanted to focus more on kind of like a place for our Sims family to go and celebrate Christmas, and this lot is actually a retail lot, I decided in the end. It has lots of different aspects, so it's kind of like a cross between the retail and a park. Hopefully this works. I have done it a few times, and when in game I've not had any problems. Like, they've used everything and it's all been fine and it's all been play tested. I had lots of different ideas, as you can tell. I sort of started building this big building at the back, which luckily I knew what I wanted for this part. I basically wanted a really nice little pretty ramp where I could go crazy with lights. That isn't exactly what happened, but I like how it came out. And then I also wanted a gingerbread house, which is why I just added this random room at the bottom, because I was like, I want a gingerbread house, but I'm not entirely sure what to do with it. So I'm just going to add a room and see how it goes. So lots of different ideas, and it was kind of difficult to bring them all together. And in all honesty, until I started really decorating, not even at this part, when I started adding the actual Christmas decorations, that's when I really thought about how it was coming together and that it looked like one lot instead of lots of different things in one place. So I tried quite a few different things when it came to decorating, and I was going to try and keep it quite simple, but when I got to the ice rink, I went crazy and I loved it so much that I just continued. I've never done any build as of yet, being my first holiday on YouTube. Yay! So I just went crazy with the Christmas decorations, and in the end it just went all insane. But at the same time, I really think that came out well. Hopefully I didn't overdo it. You may think otherwise, but we shall see. So we've seen the development of 3 different areas. As I said, it does come together very slowly. I kind of go from one room or area to the next, and I just kept getting ideas, and yet I didn't know how to make them look right. So this was the first place that I absolutely loved, was the tower next to the main building. I kind of wanted it to be all colourful, and with the windows and doors from, and archways more specifically, from the Strangerville pack, you kind of have like the nice sort of pastel colours, and I was like, this, it kind of looks like a sweetie sort of effect, which is what I was going to go with, especially with the gingerbread house as well. I really wanted it all to link together. So that was the first place I really fell in love with, and I was like, right, I can do this. I usually stick to quite neutral tones, and doing something that's very colourful and out there, it was quite a big challenge for me. And as you can tell, there's this part here, I was not satisfied with it. It's meant to be a train. You may have got that idea already, you may not have. I love the idea of having like a little area where we could have presents and maybe kind of just make it seem like this is how maybe we get our presents from Santa Claus. Yes, it doesn't have a Santa, we don't have reindeers as of yet, but I like the idea of having some sort of travel aspect. This gets changed a lot in the first sort of stage of it, which is that currently I wasn't happy with it. It was very basic, and I added my ideas as I carried on. This build, I should have mentioned this earlier, it does have a lot of CC, so make sure you check the comments. I will make sure there is links in there for you. I believe there's like 5 or 6 different links. So if you are interested in having it in your game, then you can, and there should be no problem. I've used a lot of the elements that have been added into the game via the Christmas, not the Christmas, the holiday stuff pack item that's like free. And I've never really used this before. I've never really been big on holidays and creating it, and this build, it just really took me into, oh my gosh, what am I going to do for Easter? I mean, Christmas isn't over yet, but I'm already getting ideas. And as much as my Sims, yeah, when it's Christmas time, I decorate and things, I've never done anything like this. And to be honest, it's the one thing that has got me in the Christmas spirit this year. I haven't even put my own decorations up, but I have on The Sims. You see my house is very plain, which isn't a problem. I have no guests this year. I am going out, and I'm kind of like, do I put a tree up or do I not? But I've done it in The Sims, so for me that is good enough. My Sims, they have better lives than I do. As I've already said, everything starts to come together a bit once we put the pathway in, but it starts to look a lot more Christmassy at this point. I just went absolutely crazy with the design of the ice rink. I kind of had so many ideas, and I started off with the lights, thinking, yeah, let's add more lights, make it really bright and quite a romantic sort of skating area. So I did add lots of lights, and then I do take the ones at the top out later, I believe. I cannot remember. This is me. Just because I felt like it was too much. I wanted it to be more Christmassy, and there was just so much lighting, and this area was basically lit up like a Christmas tree, which is an expression that you hear a lot in the UK. And some of you may look at me weirdly like, but it's Christmas! And it is, and it's Christmas themed, but this is not a Christmas tree. So added this part here is the holly wreath that you can put on the tables, and I just made them bigger and made them sort of go around the rails. It just sort of give it a little bit more of a Christmassy vibe. At that point I wasn't sure on what to do, so I was like, oh my gosh, these kind of loops, so let's see if we can make it go around the little railing part, and it worked fabulously, and I'm rather happy with that. As you can see, you straight away, this one area has just gone insane with decoration. And from that point, I just kept getting ideas, and I was like, right, I can do this, this will be fine. And so I think, okay, let's make this train a little bit more Christmassy. And I start by putting the wheels down for the reason that I wanted to have wheels. This proves a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. So I start off by going all the way around it, because I decide, wait, if we got a train, we need a platform. And then we're going to have stairs going up to the platform, and it will be awesome. Theoretically, yes. But then me being me, I'm like, still want my wheels. So as you can see, I'm adding the cars in to try and hopefully give an effect that I can add the wheels on the bottom and then put the rooms down. The only way to do this is by then putting the rooms up onto the second floor. And as you can see here, then that conflicts with the platform that I've added, because the levels then go over each other. And if you've seen my tutorial, you'll know that I clearly forgot this, that you need at least one square around each side empty. So I would have had to add another square of going the whole way around the part of the train cart, just to then be able to make it go down to basically be a giant hole. So I end up landscaping, as we've just seen, and then adding the cars underneath. And I wanted to vary the cars, because the biggest problem I had with this is then obviously on the first floor you wouldn't actually see the carts. So on the second floor you would see my additions of all the extra little carts, etc. And then, sorry, that was the second floor, I'm not entirely sure which one I said. And then on the first floor you would literally just see the cars. So at this point I was a bit like, well, there's got to be something I can do so it doesn't just look like some random cars. And not entirely sure what to do. I'm like, well, this was sort of more of a delivery system, so I start adding presents later once I've got on with all of this extra part. And as much as I was really unsure, it does come out really well. It kind of looks like the presents are both on top of the cars on the first floor view, and then actually in the train on the second floor and up. So I've kind of gone off on a tangent, me being me. I just completely forgot what was next and just carried on talking about my train. I am so happy about the train, to be honest. It makes me want to make a bigger one, because I reckon there's more I could do with the detail. Anyway, before I get even further confused, we saw a lot of things going on at the end of the track, and the idea was that these pine cone, that's completely wrong, the candy cane archways and mirrors. I put the mirrors inside to kind of create a reflection. And the idea was that this could then look like a portal of how the train travels in and out. So it could kind of be like that this is like a delivery system. As I said right at the beginning, they had a little delivery system coming from the North Pole, and this is where we come to collect our presents, etc. Or this is where they go from the Elves workshop, because this was the idea that I came up with later, with it. I was going to create a toy store, and on that upper part, that was going to essentially be like a little Elves workshop. Kind of forgot the whole workshop idea theme, where I could have put in some woodworking tables, etc., and it just went completely off the rails there, but I like the idea still. So this kind of, it really wanted it to look like a portal, and I believe I achieved that. I was tempted to use the Realm of Magic portal, and I was like, but that's not very Christmassy, so let's just try and think of something extra we can come up with. And that's obviously, this is what I came up with, and I love the effect the mirrors give on that sort of portal aspect. I've done it on both sides, so it kind of reflects both ways, but at the same time you obviously can't see what's inside it, or the back of the mirrors, which was important because I didn't want it to look like a construction site. Had a lot of trouble with decorating the gingerbread house. Obviously we had the lovely windows and the archways with the CC, and it came out amazingly. I really wanted an idea of where I had something that looked like icing. I had several ideas, this one being my favourite, that you just saw. It kind of looked like, well, kind of looks like candy floss, like the outside, and then you've got the baubles coming off. Absolutely loved this idea. However, it then stuck out of the building and wasn't really attached, and I found this frustrating. And if I then decided to move it, it being a ceiling object, I couldn't move it up or down using BB move objects. It proved kind of difficult, and so I completely scrapped this idea. I do go back to decorating it later, and it was one of the biggest challenges, that trying to decorate this specific tiny little corner, it became a kind of like the worst part of this build. Like even this little train here that I added for effect, just adding a small train onto it, even that worked out nicely. But this gingerbread house, it caused lots of trouble. So you can see I found the, I was about to say wall tattoos, that's probably the best way I'm going to be able to describe it. And I believe they are also in the holiday stuff pack. So I found these, and I was really hoping I could get them in white. I could get them in other colours, and I thought if they were white, they would look like icing. Literally just what I wanted. But they're red. Red is still Christmassy, so I stuck with it. I compromised there. And I absolutely love the little nutcracker statues. I also add on these little carpets around the outside of it. I really wanted these to be little love hearts, kind of wanted to really go into that sort of sweet aspect. Unfortunately, I couldn't find them. I really looked for ages, and I would have got sucked into the world of Sims CC content, and that would have been it. I would have been there for hours. So I settled with the other rugs. They kind of got the colours that they could look like sweets, not quite peppermint swirls or love heart sweets, but they worked well. So far we've kind of got the cafeteria area, which is inside the gingerbread house, and we're currently working on the main area. Really didn't like the shape of it, so I changed a lot of the roofing. I brought out a bit more of the building just to give it a bit more shape. I really don't like square buildings. Some of them are amazing. Personally, I just don't seem to like the ones I build. I've seen so many amazing ones, and you literally, it's just a square, and how these people decorate it is amazing. You're all amazing builders, and I just can't do it. I need curves, I need bits that stick out, I need a lot of character, otherwise it just drives me a little bit crazy. So I decided to add this other part here. As you can tell, it's a clock tower. Had lots of trouble with this, more because of the sizing. I wanted it to be big enough to have little parts around the outside that were like little, not archways, but little curves like I did on the other tower, because then I was going to decorate it the same way. However, it was too small for that, and then when I made it big enough for it, it looked too big and chunky, and I really didn't like the way it sat as a bigger version, so I chop it right back down again. And I give up, basically. I decided that I didn't want these bits. It would make a nice sweet little one, and I would be happy with it. Still stuck with the idea. I just didn't have archways. Just didn't have the curved flooring going from the outside. We stuck it as square, and to be honest, the square, it looks good. I was a little bit hesitant, as you can tell probably by now. I was really hesitant about what to do with it, because I really want, the whole idea of me putting this in was just so I could then recreate what I had done on the other tower, so it would link together. This, however, obviously did not work. So every time I got a little bit stuck and didn't know what to do, especially with the interior, I just started decorating the exterior. Definitely not a bad thing. I love all this exterior decoration. It's worked well. But at the same time, I was definitely procrastinating. Like, I was really enjoying this build, but at the same time, I don't know what to put on the inside. So as you can see, I start playing around with other ideas of, especially with these ceiling wreath things. And not wreaths, are they? I do not know what I'm saying, as per usual. And I finally settled on the idea of actually being able to add them to the clock tower. So that made me happy. I kind of had an idea that was working. And with them on the clock towers, I really wanted to use them. I really wanted to use everything we had been given to be able to create this. And I love all of the Christmas aspects that have been in build mode, not just the extra content. I wanted to use them, and so I eventually used them, and I was happy. I was satisfied at this point that I got this object in here that will do. So creating a little bridge just to go over. I wanted there to be a reason to go over to the clock tower, so I made it into a tiny bathroom. Not the most creative idea, but at the same time, there was either going to be a bathroom right at the top of the toy store, or there was going to be one not on the upper floor. So I thought I'd just make a couple, because who wants to walk up 4 floors just to get to a bathroom? Well, personally, I do not. I will probably end up not making it. So that's obviously something I decided we could add, and I absolutely love this little bridge. It was very simplistic. It adds a bit more to the build and the style, but at the same time it didn't overdo it. So I start on by actually going back to the interior finally. So you can see I also done a little calf. It wasn't until I done the playthrough that I realised that you could also get food from the calf. So we kind of have a cafeteria and a calf, and it seemed a little bit cliche, but at the same time, I liked the idea that you could have a little area where you could go off for a hot drink, and then you can have a proper meal as well. So I got so much like little cakes and Christmassy bits for baking wise that I went crazy. I decided to add a bakery. I just absolutely loved these. I really wanted to use them, so I thought we've got a big building, let's add a bakery. So we also added a bakery. I found that whenever I make bakeries, I always end up not making as much food as I prepared for. So my Sims are sitting there constantly baking away. So I thought it's okay to have lots of decoration in this part, because I've never fill up the amount of space there is with actual food. So then we kind of get to this part, which is the toy store, which I found quite frustrating. The most frustrating thing I found was placement of the toys. So as you can see, in some toys I could add several little bits in one area, and this was even with the BB Move objects on, but they don't affect the shelves. And if it was a different toy, I could add more or less onto that shelf, even if they were smaller or bigger sizes. And this was something that I really got frustrated at. I wanted it to look like there was lots of things there that could be brought. And unfortunately, I settled on it and I got enough to make myself happy. But at the same time, it would have been better if I could have just stacked, not necessarily stacked them all up, but lined them up so I didn't have just like a random butterfly sitting near a train and then some more random butterflies dotted around it. I did find it frustrating. So this is sort of on the lower floor. I've got lots of Christmas decoration with this CC, and I wanted to kind of make it like there's got to be a little Christmas shop as well. And as you can see, even with my little nutcrackers there's two different styles, and some of them would sit together in one position and the others wouldn't. And you can see above that I could fit in only a few of the little reindeers, and this is why I was mostly getting frustrated. So added a kitchen. If we're going to have a bakery, we need a kitchen. And I also added another bathroom on top of the toy shop. By the time you've walked up all those stairs and had a hot drink, if you don't need a bathroom, then if you don't need the then our poor Sims don't have to go all the way down to the ground just to go to the bathroom, plus over a bridge. That's, I mean, it's great for exercise, definitely, but not convenient when you need to go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I really hope you liked my ideas. I have added the CC links into the comments, but if you want to create something awesome, especially with the gingerbread house CC, I absolutely loved it. It comes with the windows, the archways, and all of the flooring as well. If this is, you want to create your own, that is a perfect CC link. I hope this inspires you to maybe move away from the houses and do something a little different with your Christmas builds. Have an amazing day, guys. Keep building and stay awesome.